wanted to introduce myself. My name is Laura Terry Green, and I am a graduate of the Leadership Mountain View class of 2019, the best class ever. Thank you, Emily. Right on time. And I'm honored to be here with all of you today. So, welcome to Leadership Mountain View's annual fundraising lunch. We're excited to be here, and we look forward to updating you on the LMV program and where we're headed. So as a reminder, this is our fundraising lunch, and we're here to make money for the LMV program. Uh-oh, I hear a mic clip. Can you all hear me okay still? Okay, perfect. So we thought a fun way to raise some of the funds would be to have a silent auction and offer some Mountain View-based goods and services. So you can definitely find that out in the back if you haven't seen that. And you can also take something fun home with you as well. So we have a lot of amazing things in the auction, from restaurant gift certificates and hotel stays to private cooking lessons, and a behind-the-scenes tour of the Mountain View Fire Department's Station 4. The silent auction will close. Uh-oh, still hear me okay? All okay? Okay. The silent auction will close at 12:55 p.m., so please take a minute to review the items and place some bids. And now please enjoy me and have some incredible lunch. Talk to people at your table. And we'll be back in just a bit to talk to you more about the Leadership Mountain View program. We'll be back in a bit. I would like to introduce Mountain View's Mayor, Allison Hicks. Mayor Hicks has served on the Mountain View City Council since 2019 and became the mayor in 2023. She is the chair of the Council Environmental Sustainability Committee and past chair of the Council Affordable Housing Committee. She co-leads Green Streets for Sustainable Committees, an education and outreach subgroup of the Palo Alto Policy Institute Transportation Choices. Prior to her election, she was a city planner and community activist. Allison has a Master of City Planning from UC Berkeley with a focus on housing and local economic development. She also has a joint major in economics and women's studies from the State University of New York at Buffalo, where she taught classes and was a founding state member of the Women's Studies College. Allison has a husband who hails from Turkey, 2 children, and a Siamese cat. Please welcome Mayor Hicks.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. Unfortunately, I can only look at my notes with glasses on. So by the way, I was in the Leadership Mountain View class of 2001, along with Council Member Margaret Abe-Koga, who is gracing us with her presence today, and also Tom Myers, Executive Director of the Community Services Agency, and many other classmates as well. So Brian did a little research for me before I came here today, and it turns out that the first Leadership Mountain View class was held in 1990. So that means that LMV has been turning out leaders for over 30 years. For some people, that's a lifetime ago, or for my children, more than a lifetime ago. Just to remind you, in case you weren't there, that was when East to West Germany reunited, Margaret Thatcher stepped down, and Nelson Mandela was surprisingly let out of prison. So if you kind of placed yourself, in Mountain View, Castro had just been turned from a 4-lane car-oriented boulevard to 2 lanes with cafe tables. Silicon Graphics, I think, was our biggest tech company. And in the beginning of 1990, there was no World Wide Web. It debuted in, I think, December, along with a first search engine called Archie, which I don't know how many of you remember. There was no Google, and most people didn't have computers, and nobody had a cell phone. So clearly, Mountain View has come a long way over the past 33 years, and Leadership Mountain View has prepared and educated people to lead us every step of the way. Some of my personal highlights on where we've traveled over the past third of a century, we've moved from a shaky local economy, often in the red, to one of the most stable in the county, particularly notable during the pandemic. We're a model that other cities follow in the fields of environmental sustainability. Now, personally, I would rather that the nation and the world were leading that effort with a solid plan, but given that that's not happening, cities providing models that can be replicated is supremely important. So we're a model in the field of environmental sustainability with, for example, our all-electric reach codes, and also in the field of affordable housing with a number of tools that other cities replicate, such as rent control, a slew of affordable housing projects, and the largest safe parking program in the county. That said, there's a lot ahead of us too. Top of mind for me, of course, is, as I've said, fighting the climate crisis, achieving a real jobs housing balance, and people-focused development as we grow, including ample green space and walkable streets. For all that, we need your input, whether it be for the silent auction today or other contributions to LMV, or your leadership to bring Mountain View forward into the future, or both. Of course, you can do both of those things. So again, thank you for inviting me to kick off this event, and I hope to see you in the future.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Just a friendly reminder, the silent auction is going to close in about 5 minutes. So just wanted to put that out there, and we will get started and resume in about 10 minutes. Talk with you soon. All right. So hey everyone, we are here to have some fun. And we're also here to raise money for Leadership Mountain View. The silent auction is now closed, and we will let the winners know, and we'll have a list of winners at the registration desk. So please pick up your items at the registration desk after the program. But right now, I hope everyone got a raffle ticket. Did you all get a raffle ticket? Because I want to call out some numbers and see who's going to go away with one of these amazing prizes up here. So at this point, pull out those numbers if you got them at the door. I'm going to read our first winner for today. All right. First number is 698007. Uh-oh. Let me give it another couple seconds to make sure. We have a winner! Yay! Congratulations! Ryan, you'll be bringing your prize to you. I'll say. All right, we need to start this off right. Congratulations. All right, our second ticket, 698026. Another winner. Congratulations. All right, thank you so much, Brian, for your help with that. We'll do this again later on in the program, so we have two more prizes to give away. So right now, I would like to introduce Brian Kaczynski, the Director of Leadership Mountain View. After a 26-year career at Space Systems Loral, Brian retired from corporate life. The following year, he took the Leadership Mountain View program and was hooked. A graduate of the 2020 class, Brian was hired to be the new director of the program. He has now graduated 2 LMV classes, 2022 and 2023. Let's give a round of applause for that. And he's heading into his 3rd year at the helm. Please welcome me in introducing Ryan.
Thank you, Laura. I'd really like to start by thanking the guests. A lot of work goes putting these together, but the guests are what make it happen. So thank you all for taking time out of your busy day to come today. I'd like to thank our sponsors. This is a fundraising event, but obviously it takes more than just this to run the program. So Google has been a tremendous support over the years and continues to do so, as well as LinkedIn. 2 primary sponsors that, quite frankly, we probably couldn't run this program without their support, so thank you for that. And Star One, And Star One picked up in a big way this year as well. They couldn't make it today, but they'll help us out this year. I'd like to thank the city, Kimbra and her staff, sending people, but the staff just steps up. When there's a problem and a need, you can probably find somebody on the staff to give a certain presentation or build something new. John Lang has been very helpful. All the city council members have been helpful, and I really appreciate the support. I'd like to introduce you to Tara Martin-Willis. Just say hello. She's from Leadership Sunnyvale. And when every program in the Bay Area went dark because of COVID, Tara blazed the trail, and she let me attend some of her online lessons as Mountain View came back up. So I really appreciate that. And we've developed a friendship, and I think both of our programs are stronger for our cooperation, so thank you for that. If you notice the slide view that we're flipping over, I'd like to mention that all of those pictures of the class of 2023 members with the leadership quotes, that was done by Raj and Netta. Raj, would you raise your hand? Yeah, so Raj was the class rep for 2023, and I will treasure many of those quotes forever. I really, really will. So thank you for putting that together. And of course, Peter Katz, my boss, and the chamber is very supportive of this program. I appreciate that. And of course, I get credit for the classes, but the work and the logistics behind it is the council. And I don't know how to elevate that enough because I can't possibly do so because it's just so much work that goes on behind the scenes, including for this event. So the Leadership Mountain View Council, I'd like to thank you all from the bottom of my heart, especially for today. So Laura mentioned that I retired in 2018, as my wife reminds me all the time, I seem to be going backwards in my retirement, but it's a whole lot of fun. So my wife and I took a 4-month class from a PhD in atomic medical physics. And as part of that program, we did these vision boards and manifest what you wanted, not only your body, but your mind to achieve in the future. And when I went through that process, I ended by just writing down that in my 6th decade of life, I wanted to help more people than I helped in my first 5. That should be pretty easy because the first 5 you're growing up, you're going to school, you're working, and now that I'm retired, I can help people. And you might think this is ooga booga, but within about 10 days of me writing, I want to help more people in my 6th decade of life, Peter called and asked to offer me this job. So how cool is that? That if you put it out in the universe, it can come back to you. And that's part of what LMV is all about, is discovering your why, connecting with other people, and moving forward. I'd like to talk a little bit about the new content in the class. So when I started, I realized that I got the feedback forms from previous classes, and I realized that planting trees with canopy was a really, really big hit. So it was true that people resonated with hands-on, but they also resonated with the importance of climate change, which our mayor just put out there, right? This city is a leader in that. So I decided to design a sustainability day. I don't know anything about sustainability. So how do you start? It's like somebody says, oh, you got to talk to Bruce Carney. Okay, talk to Bruce Carney. Somebody else says, oh, you got to talk to Bruce England. I said, okay. I can't have any more Bruces. Who else is out there? And I said, well, you got to talk to Martin Yee, right? So Martin Yee not only helps me with sustainability, but joins LMV and moves this program forward. It's all about those connections, right? So one more example. So Education Day, when I went through it, we had great individual modules, but I came away confused, not knowing how all of education fit together in the city of Mountain View. So when I became the director, Devin Conley, my classmate, can you put together for me a presentation that talks about how it all fits together, which she did, and she briefed, so great, she's going to do this forever. Next year, I can't do it, I'm going to have a baby. Hold up the baby. Yeah. So I'm the panic, but Devin knows Fiona. Fiona not only steps in to help with Education Day, decides to join the board. Not only that, becomes the Athena Award winner for Mountain View, and the person that put this event together last year wasn't available, so Fiona Thank you for helping me. I could give you thousands of more examples about who you know, the connection you make to help you move forward in life. So I really want to thank everybody for doing that and allowing me to help more people by knowing people that can help more people. Okay. So we've tried to improve the alumni outreach. How many people here came to the free backstage tour of Shoreline this year? Many of you, right? So we're going to try to do more things like that. And we're going to try to do more things that might take a little bit of money. So this is the point in the program where I go around and everybody's going to put their wallet or their purse in my bag. So, all kidding aside, why do we need to raise money? Okay? Number one, and the most important for me, is that we have to have a diversified class to make this program as powerful as it is. Not everybody can afford tuition to make it happen. So the money that we make has a direct correlation of how many scholarships and financial aids I can give to make the program be diverse and make it as powerful as it is. Many more things that I talk about the needs for money, but I think in interest of time, I'll move on. But I wanted to end with some of the class feedback. So we have two questions on our feedback form. One is, what is your biggest takeaway? And another one, what was your favorite part of the day? And it's like a different angle at the same thing, but slightly different. The biggest takeaway, what I'm floored about, was that out of a class of 31 this year, the biggest takeaway can be something different from every person, right? And in some classes, the biggest takeaway there's a more than the others, but it's so broad, you never know what's going to touch somebody. So when we go out and ask for speakers, when we go out for venue sponsors, just know that you don't know who you're touching, but you're going to touch somebody. For the favorite part of the day, normally people just pick one of the modules. But this year, unsolicited, the comment, all of it, came many times. And I just get tickled pink thinking about that. So I'm going to end tying all of it, hopefully, to the goal line here. But one of my favorite prayers, and if you're looking at your phone, this is where I want you to pay attention. Because one of my favorite prayers is written by Reverend Desmond Tutu. And it starts with, and God says, I have a dream. I have a dream that all my children will discover that we belong to one family, the human family. Think about what's going on at the federal level, at the world level, not only for climate change, but political and so forth. We can't just sit back and wait for that to correct itself. And I think Allison mentioned this, it's climate change. We'd love for the federal government to do something, but it's here locally that we can make a difference. So this prayer goes on to say all these things, and the first time I read it, I was like, yeah, I'm all for that, yeah, I'm for that. Well, God, please make it happen. This is all great stuff. But then he ends with, and God says, I only have you to help me realize my dream, right? So there's all these wonderful things that we can pray for, but God only has us to help realize the dream. And I think LMV is certainly a big part of working at the city level and hopefully growing it up and paying it forward. So please help me run this program. It is a fundraising event. Glad to see you all here. But thank you all for allowing me the honor of leading this program. And thank you again, Council, for behind the scenes making it happen. So thank you. I get excited sometimes. You can tell. So it's my job to introduce Linka Wright. So Linka Wright was in the first class that I did. She is the communications director for the city of Mountain View. Linka has just been supportive of the class, super well connected. How many people have seen improvements to the Mountain View website? It is really awesome. That was one of her side jobs. So I'd like Linka to come on up. Please welcome Linka for some remarks from Linka's perspective.
Thank you so much, Brian. And it's such a pleasure to see all of you here today. Well, when I was growing up in a small town back on Long Island, New York, one of my favorite activities was going to the library. Now, my dad, who was a single dad, would take me one Saturday a month. Now, mind you, our town was small, so we didn't have a library right there. We would have to go, it was a short distance away, maybe 15, 20-minute drive to Patchogue, to their downtown on Main Street to go to the library. It would never fail that every Saturday as a kid, I'd say, are we going to the library today, Dad? Is it today? And I'd, oh, not today. But when it was that Saturday, I would be just thrilled. And for those of you who know me, I can be quite persistent about wanting to do something. And when we would go to the library, I'd look for Judy Blume books. Now, they're seeing a resurgence these days. There's the film out right now, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. I was also a fan of Nancy Drew books, and that's the Teenage Amateur Detective. However, one of my favorite books, and it was a series, was the Choose Your Own Adventure. Anyone familiar with those books? Okay, all right. Well, every book would begin with a warning that said, you are responsible because you choose. Think carefully before you make a move. One mistake may be your last. Now, I loved these books as a kid, especially the one about a cave that you could time travel in. It was called The Cave of Time with 40, that's 40 possible endings. Now, you could reread the books again and again, make different choices, and have a whole new adventure. Well, Leadership Mountain View reminds me of these books. But before I tell you how, you have a choice. If you want to hear about how animals became a part of my LMV experience, raise your hands up high. If you'd rather hear about how we aimed high, I'm talking helicopters, at my first LMV session, wave your arms up and down, so to the side. So your options are animals up high, helicopters to the side. Okay, all right. I think, Brian, you're gonna have to help me here. What do you think? Animals or helicopters? Okay, animals up high, helicopters to the side.
I think helicopters won.
Okay.
Do we do both?
No,
Oh,
You have a choice.
maybe later, but
okay.
you only have a choice. Okay. And this is the choice you have made as a group. So for the first LMV session, we had quite a few getting to know you interactive activities at the Ameswell Hotel. And I hope you had a chance to visit the Ameswell. It's wonderful. Well, one of these activities involved putting together a toy helicopter without the instructions of probably, I don't know, 40 or so parts, something like that, Brian? Okay. Well, my 4 teammates and I all took different roles, including one who saw what a completed helicopter looked like and helped guide us as far as which parts should go where. Now, my role involves separating the various parts by color. I chose the right team because we were the first ones to build our helicopter. We were quite pleased with our efforts, but we took it one step further. We noticed others were struggling. So what did we do? We helped those other teams find the right parts to complete their helicopters too. And that's what LMV is all about, sharing your knowledge and helping others aim high too. Now, let's get back to the LMV adventure story. So here's how Leadership Mountain View reminds me of a Choose Your Own Adventure book. You never quite know what facet of our city you'll learn about or what you might be exposed to, or how you might feel inspired to get involved in something like sustainability or volunteer at a nonprofit that you haven't been exposed to before, but only because you were a part of this program. And from being in the public sector myself, I hope you discovered on Government Day just how well run our local government is. Thank you. That said, the adventure all has to do with the people you meet along the way while being part of Leadership Mountain View and even after you have graduated. Now, similar to the Choose Your Own Adventure book, Leadership Mountain View reinforced that even when you become an alumni, that is not the end. And even after every ending, you have to figure out what to do next. So hopefully Leadership Mountain View continues to inspire you to be an active part of our community, of our Leadership Mountain View community and beyond, and support others in doing the same. Well, that's the end of this story, or is it? Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna pull 2 more raffle tickets, so everyone look and see what you have. Get ready, thank you Brian for your assistance as always. Okay, the next number, 698047. Oh! Congratulations! This is awesome, okay. All right, thank you Brian. Okay, the last prize of the day up here is 698052. 052. Okay, you may have to pull another one. All right, let's do it. All right, here we go. 698050.
That's where we're from, yes.
All right. Congratulations. So we are now going to move on, and I would like to introduce Katie Barrett. Come on up here and join me while I introduce her. Yes. So Katie Barrett is the Senior Director of Strategic Initiatives at LinkedIn. After earning her master's degree in marriage and family counseling from San Francisco State University, she was a community volunteer, parent volunteer in her kids' school, and served as Deputy District Director for U.S. Congresswoman Jackie Spear. She was recently reappointed to a 3rd term on the Menlo Park Planning Commission. In 2014, she joined LinkedIn to develop community partnerships and programs to enable the company to thrive and grow in San Francisco, Mountain View, Sunnyvale, Dublin, and Dublin, Ireland. She currently leads strategic initiatives focusing on talent development, culture, and local community building, both internally and externally. And I'd like to welcome Katie to the stage.
Thank you. And that was a very hard act to follow. But you know, what we've heard today is an analogy of like why Leadership Mountain View is so important to support. And I just want to go back to the story we just heard about building the helicopter and how everybody had their part. And some people's parts are big and some people's parts are small, but they all matter and they all get that helicopter flying. Great cities don't become strong, resilient, balanced budgets, more sustainable on accident. It's community programs like this, these leadership development programs that connect all these different kind of facets of the community that really make the difference. And so I know I have to get to my script, the part where I actually am the one that's holding it down and asking you for the real money here. So I will get there, don't worry everybody. But I couldn't resist adding kind of my personal take on it after hearing such inspiring stories. And even the, you know, if you've seen the photo carousel, there's some amazing quotes by classmates, and I love that project, by the way. So the efforts are really this, you know, that much more important. It's again, you know, while I appreciate the kudos that 2 large companies can do a lot for the program, I would love to see the community at large do more. So I'm prepared to make a personal donation in addition to my company's donation. And I hope we can all consider that. Again, you know, we can't all give the level that, you know, that seem like really big numbers, but we can certainly give something. So I just want to go through kind of what is on the donation card on your tables. $2,500 sponsors a program for an entire day. Those are things like the venue, which hopefully is free in many cases, of course. But there's always lunch. There's always lots of logistics. The 1850 pays for a full scholarship for one community member's tuition. So think about that parent that really wants to plug in. Maybe they're newer to the community and they have a lot to give. Give that person a chance to be part of this amazing program. 925 pays half a scholarship for one person's tuition. That's super helpful. If we had a few of those, you'd have a much stronger class. 750 sponsors the food and beverage for a program day. 300 sponsors an alumni event, and $100 supports LMV's recruitment efforts. Any amount will help. And I just want to say too, when you get the perspectives of that very wide swath of the community, and you make those connections, that's one of the, that's why this has been so successful. When I joined LinkedIn, my boss, who is now retired, said the first thing, try to apply to Leadership Mountain View and do that program. He had done it in the early 90s, one of the very first classes, and he was in the class with Councilmember Pat Showalter. And so he knew the value of this program from, many years ago. And so, and he was right. I joined, I luckily accepted and I was able to be part of the class. But it really did help me understand the community. We all kind of come at it with what we know and what our background is and all the different influences you've had. And you learn so much more about the whole community. And I think this program is one of the reasons Mountain View is so strong and is a leader in the region, in the state, in the country, and in the world. So do what you can, dig deep. I'm going to do the same. Keep in mind that the foundation is a tax-deductible 501c3 organization. And with that, I'm going to return the mic over to Laura, and thank you for your time and your generosity.
Before I give the mic over to Fiona to give some friendly reminders about the auction of the winners, I just wanted to say that thank you all for coming here today. Leadership Mountain View, the city of Mountain View, is a very near and dear place in my heart. Having been in the 2019 Best Class Ever, I also spent a lot of time with the Chamber and was a part of HIPPY and Fuel SV and just really enjoyed my, 8-9 years giving back to this community. It's very special, and again, I'm honored and humbled to be here and to share this stage with you all. So thank you again, and hope you have a little bit of fun too. So yeah, go LMV.
Okay, so we all get to make our plugs. If you're 2005, we're the best class ever. I see more Blakely. I'm going to very quickly run down all of the winners' names. If you didn't get the item you were trying to get, we have lots of wine at $20 a bottle. Thank you to Chamber for sharing some of their wine from the various events that they have had. These are nice bottles of wine at $20 a bottle. So highly recommend. We take cash or credit card. So if I don't call your name and you want to go grab wine from the back, we're happy to give you a bottle of wine. Okay, with that said, I will go fast. Adrian Haskinen, Roxanne DeSantos, Jackie Tanner, Devin Conley, Laura Blakely, Nancy Kaczynski, Paige DeBose, Wen Mai, and apologies if I have just mispronounced your first name, Bruce Carney, Adrian again, Hank Dempsey, and Leanne Ramos. Said Laura Blakely, said Jackie Tanner, Pamela Baird, Shamila, you got the clock, Linka Wright, and Andrea Lacey. So thank you everybody, 1,000 thank yous for coming today, 1,000 thank yous for the auction team who was here early this morning. I really appreciate you. Brian, you have kept us up and running, we're so grateful.
Follow up on that helicopter story.
Thank you.
We pay a facilitator to come in on the first day, part of the reason we need to go back there and buy more wine, to help get the first class, integrated together. So you do a lot of hands-on things. The helicopter's one. But my first year that I taught it, the same thing happened. The class that the group that finished went on to help somebody else, and she said that she has done that hundreds of times. And it's extremely rare because the group is competitive, right? The group that finishes their helicopter, they sit back and they gloat. 2 years in a row, the team that won at LMV said to her, because she was monitoring what you're allowed, are we allowed to help the other groups? And she said yes. 2 years in a row, Mountain View rocks. Thank you all. And thank you, Laura, for everything. Thank you so much for hosting us.